Booger.
Can I try? Yeah, but yeah, and then, yeah.
Gotta make sure I cover it up over here. See, I got my, what on. I can't see that, right?
I don't think so. Hi.
Adele will be here in a little while.
Yeah, tell everybody you have to wear blue. Who wears blue?
Well, I didn't know if I'd
I
be
got
on
a little
tonight.
blue on me. I got a little blue on me.
No, but,
No, he was all blue.
no, but you know, the difference is that when there's also the green screen. That if you wear anything green.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we
We're
could go green in
supposed to have
here, but
one.
we're not. So put former, huh?
Yeah, former or previous or immediate past.
Retired?
No, not retired. I wish I was retired.
Yeah. Retired sounds better.
Or tired.
Oh, well, we're all that.
And no news from doctor on you,
No, not yet.
but you seem to be all right.
We'll see. Okay, here's my 2 jokes for today.
Okay. As we get ready to go.
Why are there no Walmarts in Iraq?
Why?
Too many targets, huh? I already heard that one.
I have no idea.
Too many targets.
Be quiet on this next one. Why do women have clean minds?
Why?
Because we change them so often.
Are we on the air yet or not?
But pump. Yeah, we're actually on the air. We're just waiting for the.
Yeah, you're just waiting for me to get in there and do something.
Okay,
So we are just casual, relaxing, just kind of kicking it back a little bit. We'll be getting on
You
screen
can just
shortly.
look at the slate all time and try to figure out what we're wearing. Because you know why we're not seeing us? Because we're all naked back here.
All right. Hey.
Yeah.
Well, Pokey and
Yeah.
the missus, they're over here running around rampant. They're trying to do their little kissy face stuff going on over here instead of
But
being
we're
in the
all
studio.
naked.
And Pokey's right now getting dressed as Mrs. Pokey's walking out sachet in her tushy.
Check my booty.
You my booty, yeah.
My booty.
And as you, what do you always say about the Trailer Park Show?
My baby got back.
So what is that thing that you always say about the Trailer Park Show? Anything happens?
Oh yeah, it stays in the trailer park.
Anything happens at the Trailer Park Show?
You never know down here. That's why we're. People say, why don't you segment it up? Be like 60 minutes. Then we'd be 60 minutes. On a local level.
True.
Yeah.
But let's face it, we started out a bunch of dump truck drivers.
Don't look at me.
Now you got a professor on the.
Now you got a professor.
You're on the air.
LULAC.
You got a lovely lady that's gonna be on here shortly.
Adele is on the way.
Yeah.
And we got our immigration friend Gavino, who's trying to deal with his immigration stuff every day.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess that's what's happened because he's not here tonight.
Yeah. He's busy. He's busy covering other issues.
Yes. Well, welcome back, folks. Whoa, that's kind of a funky haze there, man, with the
what's going
with the
on?
lighting. I think we
It's a Death Star from Africa.
yes, we're just having some slight image issues over there in the back. I think they're gonna try to fix that part up hopefully shortly. But welcome back to the Trailer Park Show. We got a brand new show, brand new week, and we're proud to be back. We have you on board again.
Sure.
We have Pokey, James Slow Pokey Ritter. We also have Mr. Tafoya, Marcelo Tafoya from LULAC, who's the official title will be the former state director.
Yeah, former deputy state.
Former deputy state director from LULAC, and who's here to talk a little bit about the meeting that the annual LULAC National Convention, which happened in Utah.
In Utah.
And we will have Adela Tanner, who's part of the Travis County Republican Party outreach program. She will be out here shortly. She's taking care of some stuff. You know how Austin traffic is. Even in the summertime, it's still horrible. And then, well, there's me. So yeah. So what do we have on slate? What's been going on?
Let's see. I forgot what we were supposed to be announcing for announcements. There's the Republican Party's having their little get drunk time together. I shouldn't say that. The happy hour, whatever that we can't go to. And also
because I'm kind of busy.
Yeah, and you're kind of busy, and plus the commanders forums that same night. Yeah, we are going to have some shows coming up. We don't quite know how it's going to go after the end of this month. Next week, we will be having our finance stuff on. Our city finance with, what's his name?
Clint.
Clint Smith. Will be on next week. And week after that, we kept it open, so we're just going to have all the hosts, and anybody wants to come down here and talk about it, because we thought we were going to be off for 2 months. And there's new management coming in at the end of
which would be the Austin Film Society taking over.
Austin Film Society come take over, and they were gonna do some work in the studio, but they're gonna wait, so we will be back on the air. But we might be playing some tapes.
Mm-hmm.
And take a short break.
Well, we gotta take a couple of days off here.
Yeah, at least one or two.
Yeah, with upcoming stuff. You know, it's the summer, guys. Let's face reality. It's the summer. We've got some stuff to do between school and life. We're gonna be taking a couple of weeks off so that we can take care of things, and that way Pokey and Mrs. Pokey can go ahead and run around naked in the rooms instead of doing it here.
Yeah,
you know,
you don't want to see that.
No offense, you know, Mrs. Pokey. I love the booty, but you know sometimes. You know, cameras are around, and it's like
in years past, it wasn't too bad. Come on, Ma.
And she's fully dressed now, so welcome to the welcome on board.
And what do I always say, Ma? You're prettier now than you were at 15. This is how you teach people that one, huh? But you are. It's hard to explain, but as we approach 40
you
years.
more today than yesterday, but not as much as tomorrow.
I've been having some troubles with my gallbladder, okay?
Let's
So
hear
we
your
went
report.
last Wednesday to look into what's the matter with my gallbladder. Well, it's inflamed. I've got medications, and this is what they found in my gallbladder on the ultrasound.
I saw that.
Oh, boy,
Yeah,
all right.
I saw that. We had
It's a
members of the
little picture with the Rolling Stones inside my gallbladder.
We had Keith
but-
Richards and Mick Jagger in
yeah,
there.
yeah, so I have my stuff, but they found something that's suspicious in my liver. So we don't know if I'm going to
Who
go
is
back
that?
into treatment.
Keith Richards' other half.
Oh, that's what I was thinking, somebody-
No, the liver spots are opening for the Rolling Stones. Okay,
Oh, there
let's
you
put
go.
it that way. Yeah. So, anyways, we don't know if I'm going back in treatment. So I could really use the 2 months off in case it has to do it. But if
Can we-
not, don't start telling me. Oh, let's do this. So put in tape shows. Let's put. Just don't even aggravate me right now, because you're just.
Okay, we'll discuss it later. But
It'll be
anyway,
40
I'll
years,
learn how to
40
push the
years in
buttons.
November,
we'll do-
and he's still pokey. Or should I say pukey, since you can't get names right.
there's no. Yes, I do. It's
Captain. Incoming message.
There you go.
It's pukey.
So yeah, so we
we'll do something for August and September.
and take care of the necessary stuff. That way, Mrs. Pokey.
Yeah,
can-
we don't
can
know
take
exactly
care of
what's
stuff.
going to happen out. But anyway, we got a couple of good shows coming up. And this one, we just had the LULAC conference in Salt Lake City. And you're going to fill us in on some of those details.
Why did they choose? No, here's the big
Yeah, I had to
question.
figure that out too.
Pokey and I were messaging each other, and he's like, "Hey, by the way, Gavino and everybody else is gonna be gone for up to Utah." And we're like, "Really?" So how did they pick Utah or Salt Lake City?
Well, this is for the national convention. There's a different. Each state has their own convention.
Can you hear me okay?
Texas had a convention, about a month ago, and Lubbock, and now this one here is a national. Well, at each convention, people bid to get the convention. Next year is going to be in Washington D.C.
Wow.
And then the following year will be in San Antonio. And then the following year will be in Arizona. And what to do is that you put a bid in, and if you win the bid, you bring it, each council can bid for a convention. Like the state convention next year will be in Laredo, and the following year in Corpus Christi. So this is the way LULAC operates. In other words, so if you bid on it, that's what you get, and then of course you try to raise money for your councils or the league there. So yeah, that's the way it's picked. So
Wow.
in this case, it was picked.
Yeah, we just wondered about,
We're like, they don't drink.
Mormons and all that kind of stuff. And
Well, the bigger part was like, I mean, it's a nice place. I've been there. I've gone to visit.
clean, hey.
It was clean, very clean. But we're like, wow, they don't drink there. Well, I mean, not as much. People don't celebrate the libations of the
Well, they're
nectar.
mostly Mormons, so consequently, that's what you're saying, right? But believe me,
Well, they have the-
at a convention like LULAC, there ain't no way will they. I mean, that's second nature. Second nature. You walk around with a fifth.
There you go.
But anyhow, it was a good convention. They had one in New York last year that didn't come out too well, but I think we're finally on the right track, and we're moving forward. And I think with this new president, Mr. Roger Rocha out of Laredo, we'll do well.
Good Texas fella. Got to
Well,
be good.
just about all the presidents have been from Texas. It's,
Get Tejanos, huh?
and the thing is that Texas takes the largest number of delegates, so You know, for this year we took 345, and there was only like about 700 delegates total.
Wow.
Which was one of the smallest. Normally, it's about 1,700 delegates. You know, but Puerto Rico didn't come down this year. A few numbers did. So.
Right.
That,
But you would think with California now, at the number of people now, because that was the new report saying
I heard
that
California's now
now
majority
has-
Hispanic.
yeah, the majority of people now living there are Hispanic,
Mm-hmm.
and you would think that they would probably have more of a driving force.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it all depends on how many members you have, and if you have the membership that's there, looking and trying to get more membership, well, then that's how LULAC grows.
Right.
Like for example, here in Austin, at one time we had 37 just in District 12, and now it's only 10. Okay, so it fluctuates. It depends how busy you get to try to get membership, and membership, like anything else, fluctuates. You know. So District 7, which is the west side of Austin, they only have about 10 this year also. But at one time they had like about 28, 27 also. So it all fluctuates. San Antonio has about 150 councils over there. So that's why they take so many members to the conventions. So.
Any highlights you might want to point out to us before I ask any questions?
Well, quite a bit. Of course, we have a gentleman from San Antonio, Mr. Gabriel Rosales, was elected VP, Vice President for the Southwest, which is good to have somebody nearby, and they serve the Southwest region of the nation. See, LULAC is a national organization, as you all know, and we have a huge number of states that have LULAC chapters. Texas happens to be not only the originator where it gave birth, but it's the largest. But also the state of Texas itself, for example, we have 21 districts in Texas alone. And of course only 19 are active because the other 2 are still looking for membership to cover it up. But that's what makes the difference between what we can provide and what we can't provide. And of course, our 2 goals is civil rights and education is our primary goals of everything else. And of course, during the National Convention, they did point out the actions that was taken by Donald Trump, and they disapproved it. And
I was going to get to that in a little while, but
and was asking that he would be kind of like put in his place, because he did in the beginning say that the Mexican people were raping and killing and all this other stuff. Now he turns it around saying, no, I was talking about the Mexican government, not the people. Well, and then to top it off, he admits that he has undocumented working in his facilities
good for business.
throughout. Well, yeah, it's good this way, but it's not good the other way. So that was 2 of the biggie things that came out of the whole issue, And of course, we're still working real hard to get a VP for the military, so that we can start doing more work with them. Of course, the American GI Forum is supposed to be doing it, but because they have lacked so much, we figured we would probably put in and work with that too, to try to get a VP for that. And again, LULAC tries to help wherever they can, and then wherever. This is actually what happened up there. It was very good. I mean, we didn't have as many members show up there as normally, so. But it was very, very good, very well attended, and very well, and they have a beaucoup of subject matters that they deal with. They deal with Social Security, they deal with education, they deal with many, many other issues that are requiring the nation that they're looking for things to be done. So, and they bring in high-grade speakers, people that are highly educated and highly prone to try to help the community. So
Yeah, I was just looking at the website, the LULAC one, the national one.
Yeah.
Orrin Hatch
Yeah.
spoke to the
Assembly,
organization,
yeah.
bringing up the emphasis on immigration and family values.
All right.
Which I guess Orrin Hatch can do that. I mean, if don't put someone like Trump on there or me. I mean, I understand values of family, but not family values. You know how I am with that part. You know me personally. I mean, you know that how well that goes.
You got good family values. Compared to a lot of people, you got real good family values.
So, do you have a little bit more on the information? And this is just straight coming off the website. So this is off the homepage. I was looking at the I guess you're looking at the expansion of the education initiative.
Yes.
So what's a little bit about that, or if you can tell us a little bit about that part?
Well, it's just like for example, you have a situation where most children are not graduating. We have a lot of people that are dropping out of school. We have a lot of curriculums that are not adapted to our children, and they're bringing up more of how to work with the children in school. For example, like we had here a forum here where we brought a lot of issues where the families should get involved. And a good example at our school, it went from 63% failing to 83% passing because the families got involved, the parents got involved, and they started to realize, and we taught them how to navigate the school system.
And this is through the school. The school you're referring to is East Austin.
Southwest Key.
It's Southwest Keys.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it also helped other schools because we had parents from throughout that came down. But see, again, a lot of times the parents don't know how to navigate the system, who to talk to, how do you approach a teacher, because put yourself in a child's seat that your mother or father comes over to the school and the rest of the kids said, "Oh, you had to bring your mother to defend you."
Exactly.
But when you have 20 and 30 families, showing up, it's no longer you, it's us.
Right.
You see, so it changed a lot when the rest of the parents started coming down, volunteering and participating in what was action. So we're constantly pushing for families to get involved. And so,
Participate in it, yeah.
right, and also curriculums. For example, there's a lot of curriculums like the law that passed here in Texas, where they're only going to take 5 tests instead of 17 tests.
Right. And then they've changed it now where you can now, of the 5, you can pass 2.
Yeah.
And then the remaining ones go to, correct me if I'm wrong on this part, they go to a school board or a board within the school itself, and they say whether or not this person, based on their academics, should pass. I believe this helped out a few students in the AISD region,
Exactly.
where some of the students didn't pass it. And I gotta say, I've seen those tests.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness! I'm gonna let me attest to this part here. I was always a big proponent of saying, kids got to do this. Kids got to learn how to do this. They've got to know how to do this. It's a lot on the responsibility of the child. But I'm looking at these tests now, and I made a couple of comments to some students that were getting ready to take one of the STAR tests. I said, I go, if you guys think you're right here, you need to be up here.
Yes.
And when it comes to the knowledge that is being given to them. They're going to have to apply everything that they've learned on the basics and utilize and do that so that they can pass the test.
Yeah.
Because I looked at, like the past years, I looked at 2013 and the 2014 STAR test for one grade or one subject in particular for the end of course. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I have to reread these questions just to make sure I'm doing it right. So if I have to do that,
what do you expect from the children?
Exactly. And they have the test. I mean, they have some of the test taking strategies. I got to talk to some of them about some of the test taking strategies I use. Yeah. And it's like, oh my goodness, it is just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, well, you have to also realize one thing. For example, in the beginning they had test after test after test after test, but they were not using the time to learn how to read and write and do mathematics.
Right.
And they were too busy doing the testing. So that in reality they quit learning how to read, write, and do math.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you look at the new math now, I mean, it was told over and over and over, how many ways can you do math?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, math is math. But now that they have, you got to draw a little box and put it in this box and turn it over here. And, hey, math is math. So why not go to the basics back?
Well, and that's part of the new training that they're doing. I think, I don't know if that's through C-Scope or through Common Core, where they're showing them how to come up with a different method of doing the test. And it's like, come on, really?
If I could, real quick, to bring Adela up to where we're at.
Adela, how are you?
Adela.
Well, this is Adela Tanner.
In true trailer park fashion, I'm late. One of us is always late.
We mentioned the traffic was pretty bad, so yeah.
We've only covered some of the headlines out of the LULAC convention.
Good to see you again.
Likewise, thank you. But also, I want to mention some. For example, mark your calendar for July 25th. the Terraza Branch Library is going to have the Texas Wranglers.
Oh, nice.
They're going to be performing there from 3
Love
p.m.
Texas Wranglers?
Yeah,
Yes.
from 3 p.m. to 5
They're on
p.m.
one of those DVDs.
And
I
it's
got.
free. It's going to be inside, too, so you don't have to worry. So
He ran for city council.
yes, he did. He
Mr.
did
Lamar,
quite make
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
In fact, he was one of my DJs in one of my radio stations.
Oh, really?
So anyhow, I'll leave that with you so you can use
Okay.
it.
Yeah, we
You
can
still got a
plug
couple.
this.
You still got a couple more weeks for that.
Oh, cool.
Also, I got a
Oh,
call.
well, that's,
No, Julie.
Limon.
Yeah, we know him, Julian.
Fernandez, yeah, Julian. I also got a call from the IRS.
Uh-oh.
Boy, that really shook me when I
Calls.
first said, "Oh, it's the IRS," and they said, "You're the contact for LULAC for the IRS." I suppose so. They said we're looking for bilingual workers, and we need plenty of them. So go to the IRS website and get a job if you're a bilingual individual. So,
I know some a friend of ours that can probably help out with getting some contacts. So,
good. Okay.
in fact, we'll talk about that.
Okay, email me and I can send you the flyer that they're
Oh,
going
yeah,
to send me.
definitely.
Okay, and also District 12 is working real hard to raise some money for scholarships. So that's another project that we're having, and we're working on it pretty heavily.
Reach the what now?
To get scholarship,
okay.
District 12. So we're working
That is
with
good.
CASAS and people like that who we're trying to raise some money. So we're letting everybody know that eventually we'll have enough money to give scholarships that are needed very badly amongst our communities, you know.
Is there somewhere that someone can go to look up the requirements for these scholarships, or they're kind of still in the works right
Yeah,
now?
well, we have them, like all of them, you know, every organization has their own, what they're required. Yeah, we'll have them ready by next week somehow, and we'll put them on our website, which is, I can't remember now, it's in there. I think it's Texas State LULAC, .org or something like that. But anyhow, I'll get you that information.
Good to know, because I have a high school senior brother.
Well, you know, you're not the only one. Like I was telling somebody, in the national LULAC website, they have a list of scholarships, and also Moldov, the Mexican American Legal Defense, has a large listing of where you can go. But you know, the thing is that the biggest problem that we've had with these is that the kids download, you know, like, I'll say that you find one that's going to give them $10,000. Well, you take it to your counselor, and then the counselor doesn't work on it, you know, so the kid ends up
Yeah.
losing it. And that's one of the biggest problems. And that's one thing about, I'll talk about our school. We have an individual that's dedicated strictly to getting scholarship for our kid. It's in Southwest Key. So, you know, we, as a board member, worked on that to be able to have, to facilitate that. And so that's the thing that we've been, you know, working on, because the education system that we have is something else. And, you know, I was watching another program where they were, I forget what channel it was, but they said, like, for example, a kid said, I want to go to school and have fun. I don't want to go to school and have to work and endure that the other kid next to me is not as smart as I am, and I have to wait for that person. So what they did at school is they give them all tablets, and they all gave them a different assignments so that they could sit there in class, work on the assignment, and improve. And if you're smarter, then you know, you go the step up, so you don't have to sit back and wait for the other person.
You
know,
go at your own pace. Tablets, you mean
Exactly.
like what he has there?
Exactly. And that's
no
what we
idea
did at
these
Southwest
things.
Key.
I thought he meant like, you know.
We gave our
It's
kids
slowpoke
tablets.
fashion.
Yeah, it is ever.
But I'm actually glad that you touched on scholarships, because I was the first one in my family to go to college, as a lot of Latinos are. The first one, and nobody guided me through
Yeah.
scholarships. And then there's other people who got, you know, upwards of 50,000
Well,
because
yeah.
you have to.
They
it's
knew how to do
interesting.
it, huh?
Yes, but you have to make. I'm so glad that generations moving forward have this kind of help and have this hand holding, so to say,
Yeah.
especially in a world, especially as the generations become more and more
Yeah.
lazy, so to say. I had to seek out scholarship information, and then you have to fill out the essays, but it's a payoff.
Yeah,
and the reward of,
yeah.
I wrote that essay and it took me 4 hours,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
and the
bes-
payoff of it.
Yeah, beside that, the different scholarships require different things.
Yes.
You know, some of them require that, some require something else. But if you don't have a counselor that will guide you through it, you know, there's no way of you making it, right? But at the same time, like you were saying, about 6 years ago, I had 2 scholarships for $40,000 each.
Wow.
Okay, and I put it out to
That's not
the
chump
membership.
change.
I put it out to membership. Guess what? Not one person filed for those 2 scholarships. Okay? Now,
I've heard other people
I
say
hope
that
that's
too, but
stunning
nobody knows how to
enough.
get
there
there.
was one
I
at the
hope that's
University of
stunning enough.
Texas, and the other one was at Texas Tech. You know,
So do you
$40,000 scholarship. That's
Do you think there's a lack of communication between getting that information out to actual high schools?
well, in a way, but in another way, like we were talking earlier about getting the families involved, and a lot of the families don't know how to navigate the school system.
Exactly.
And know who to talk to and who not to talk to, and because they're scared that, you know, they might be run off or whatever happens. But we had a forum here not too long ago where we had 71 families come down, and our school improved. Okay, you were there at South.
I was
Beacon.
there, yeah.
So it improved. It has improved from 63% failing to 83% passing.
That is so good.
Within 1 year.
Round of applause.
Within
Actually,
1
that
year.
deserves
We're
a
gonna have
round of
another one
applause.
too, ain't we?
Right, pretty soon come and have another one. But what I'm saying is that, like right now, we have the University of Texas reaching out to LULAC to try to get help, you know, to do what we're trying to do all this time. Well, that's what we need. We need more people communicating with each other instead of being scared of each other. You know, why should I talk to you? Why should I give you my ideas? You know, they're mine. I should get the credit.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute, no, because if you advance, I advance. And see, that's a lot of people. That's where they make the biggest mistakes. That we need to talk to each other, and we need to get coalitions put together and work, but literally work, not just sit there and you know, you can always say I'm going to do it, but then it never happens.
And younger generations, not necessarily my generation included, but younger generations have apps to find scholarships. They have so much social media ways to share LULAC scholarship. There's faster ways of communicating this stuff, but it does take familial help and you know, support.
Exactly.
And not every family has that, especially bilingual ones, because
Exactly.
a lot of them are like, "Look, I don't want you in my business," and it
Right,
has nothing to
exactly.
do with, you know, they just don't like anybody in their business because
Exactly.
they're afraid of chismas or whatever. And there's this mentality of Latinos sometimes, I know I can speak for myself, that if you move up and out, suddenly you're not Chicano enough.
You're a coconut.
Yeah, a coconut. Oh, I get that so many times, a coconut.
Well, not only that, let me tell you another thing is, in our culture, we also have that fear of we don't want to make mistakes because it really shines on us.
On
so,
generations.
Yeah, so instead of going forward and saying, you know what, I need help, you know, they won't do that. You know, I'd rather do it myself, right or wrong.
You don't want to look stupid or nothing.
Exactly. Instead of being real and saying, you know what, I don't know, I need help, you know, and just come out and look for the help. So anyhow, that's part of my spiel.
The other part that I was noticing, and this is something that's going through the Austin Chamber of Commerce when they did the FAFSA Saturdays. A couple of the big things was obviously residency issues, especially for those people that don't qualify for FAFSA but do qualify for TASFA. Which is 2 completely different programs based on residency concerns that may come up. But the other big part was when it comes to applying for financial aid from FAFSA was giving the income tax. Where a lot of people may not want to give the tax returns. You have to give the tax returns to show proof of how much money you're making. And to have someone say, well, you know, the circumstance, and it ranges, and I can put it to you this way: either the family doesn't want to provide the information because either they haven't done it, or they're not going to be filing taxes because of whatever circumstances, or based on the living arrangements that are going on with the family members. Because as many people are aware, some people have to live with another family member for one reason or another, and then you look at tax returns, or you look at how whatever arrangements they make, you know, they're getting credit elsewhere.
Yeah, right.
You know, that happens in the small communities like Manor, where you have people that, and I'll use a perfect example, people that live in Austin. The families live in Austin, and the student's supposed to go to Austin, but they have an uncle that lives in Manor, so they use that address, and then they start going to school there. For and the main purpose is because of getting into UT and going to some of the bigger schools, because of the better grades or the potential for better grades. So you run into all these little nuances that go on, and all of a sudden those people that should qualify and people that do know that they qualify for them, they fall out of the cracks, and I guess that part would be more for education on telling the parents, you know, just be as honest as possible and hope for the best.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that goes in all aspects of the community. For example, there's people who receive benefits from the city, from the state, and again, once you have to show your documents, and then of course you hear all this stuff about hacking and about getting your information and using it, and all of a sudden your credit card is all over the place. People are running scared. And they say, why?
I like to use my credit card.
Why should you give your social security number? Well, wait a minute. You want the help or you don't want the help? Well, you don't know. At this point, you don't know. I mean, if they did it to the federal government, and you're talking about 21 point some odd million,
We'll get into that later.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying. These are the fear that the community is receiving. These are the messages that they're receiving, and of course.
Yes, you're right.
And everybody right now is running scared. Not scared, but very, very cautious,
So as being a member of LULAC, are you receiving any, as people talked about that? I mean, we're talking about the issues. Has anybody come up to you and said, hey, these are my concerns? I mean, are they bringing these issues to you as well?
Of course. That's why I know about them. I mean, it's not that I'm that intelligent or that smart.
Oh, we know you're very bright. We know that much.
But the thing is that people come to us constantly with issues. I had one call today about, I felt like I'm being discriminated because I was let go from my job. Well, again, it's easy to say it, but then we have to go back and do the research and do the test and check it all out before we even decide to even do anything.
Right.
A weird thing, but I had somebody from the jail send me, please put money into my account. I don't even know who you are. You know what I'm saying? So we get all these things.
The commissary there in the county jail, they can buy some.
Yeah, we get all these things. We get phone calls, collect phone calls. Well, wait a minute.
What do you do with those?
Yeah, we don't even know.
I'm just curious.
No, I just hang up. Sorry. We don't accept those, So what I'm saying is that a lot of people need help, yes, but then there's a lot of people that need help don't need the help, that they're just trying to con you into doing something for them. So a lot of people get disappointed and say, well, LULAC didn't help me. Well, wait a minute. We asked you to fill out the form of your complaint and the whole information. If you don't give it to us, we can't follow up. And we're not lawyers or anything like that, because we don't have any lawyers. But what we try to do is get you to the right place. And to get you to the right place, we need to know what's the right issue. So that's one of our biggest problems.
So did we cover the convention already?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, we're talking about the Dixie Chase going out there. There's
Well,
a big old parade with the LGBT community and LULAC going on over there. And it was great. It was great stuff.
Yeah,
But,
it's skipping along down the
That all happened in the 15 minutes I was late.
Yeah,
See what happens when you miss it.
one thing that came out of all this was the fact that whatever Mr. Trump did,
I did want to get into that before we go off.
I think it's going to backlash with the number of voters that the Democratic Party is going to gain off of this thing, because the Latino community, which was one of the large voting segments,
if you will.
are really, really, really upset.
Really?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I've
very
got
much.
I can-
Understandably
I can,
so on some level, on many levels.
Yeah, I got friends that on Facebook, and I'll say this. I mean, they were showing other videos of people being upset, the concerns, of what he was saying, which we talked about this earlier before we started. That he must spoke big time, and the thing was that it was guilt by association when he was trying to. I think what he was trying to convey was it was because of the other groups that were coming in that are further south from Mexico. All of a sudden, they bundle them up as being Mexican, so you're guilt by association.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're brown, you're just Mexican. It doesn't
Exactly.
matter
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
Dominican, Cuban,
Right.
you're just Mexican.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. Of course, if you're Puerto Rican, you can't see you're Mexican. So that's a big difference on that one.
Well, even our senator,
Yeah.
he came out in favor of what he said. Wait a minute, he's a Puerto Rican, actually from a Canadian turned American.
What the hell's he doing?
Yeah, what kind of word do we have? Well, wait a minute, he's one of your friends.
There's
Hey,
a
I was a Deer's man.
Oh, okay. All right.
there's a way to have
Clear about this now.
if you're running for president, you
Yeah.
have to understand there is a behavior, there is couth that
Yeah.
comes with that. There is a respect to fellow candidates, to the party you're actually running for, because not all of us think like that. Look at Gabriel and me. We're
Can I throw something
brown
in here?
again?
Okay, you throw it.
Being a good white boy out here,
The token white boy today.
Yeah, I've had a lot of Hispanic friends. I notice I've tried to explain this to people. It's not so much what you say, but how you say it.
Exactly. And the tone you use.
The tone you use. Like what he said was, well, he got the figures all wrong. He could have found some other way to say it without being quite so, how do you
offensive?
say? Huh?
So offensive.
Offensive, yeah.
You know,
Insulting.
You know,
Yeah.
Insulting.
I think I've mentioned this.
That's
quote,
it.
but I
He
think-
said it in an insulting way.
Yeah, there's this quote that I love by Winston Churchill. It says basically about Kuth. You can tell someone to go to hell and make them enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, you know how to do it.
That's tact. That's tactful.
That-
It's
that-
telling them in such a way
Yeah.
there is no rebuttal.
Yeah.
There,
No.
you know, and there's a way when you are running for the top
You're supposed
office
to,
of
yeah.
the free world. We have to think. You cannot disenfranchise a group that is already disenfranchised from the
Exactly.
government
Exactly.
even further.
Especially when we're trying to outreach to.
Yes, and then be called, you know, and then when he's called out for having illegal immigrants, because let's face it, he's a construction guru.
Yeah.
Those are the hardest working construction workers, whether they're documented or
Good
not.
business.
And it's like crickets. I mean, how do you negate that? You can't.
Yeah,
You can't refute that
No.
if that's the truth.
The one thing that kind of struck me as odd and probably offensive about this whole thing are the people that were, and I had the same thing when people were doing this to any politician. Obviously, they did the piñatas. They did the Trump piñatas. I have pictures of people in Texas that used the piñata. You know, it was great, but they had the head, and they put it on a chair, and they burned it, and they were burning them in effigy about the whole thing. Which for me, I'm just like, we get upset for people doing that to other people. You know,
that's
you know
just a
that
little-
part for me, that part, you know, and this is coming from an Hispanic family in El Paso, Texas. I've got the screenshots. I'm like, that's just something you really don't want to do because that kind of
proving right almost,
you know, people will cheer you on and say, oh yeah, that's right. But then you got other people like that say, okay, yeah, we understand he's a punk. He's a doofus for saying it. I mean,
Somehow he's rising in the
but-
number. He's
and,
rising
and,
in
and,
numbers.
and to go ahead and do that part, I mean, I didn't appreciate when they did that with the president or any other presidents.
But you also have to realize where the people are coming from because they've seen other races
American citizens.
do the same thing. No,
Yeah.
but other races do the same thing and get footwork on that,
Right.
or get benefits from that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like rioting, for example.
Yeah.
You know, some people have done rioting so successful. Look, they got something out of it. So people of our culture is looking at that and say, well, wait a minute, do we have to do that in order to improve or to move forward?
How come white folks never do any of this stuff?
Oh, we do it all the time. I mean, you guys
Because then
do it
y'all
all
are
the time.
KKK.
No, that's right. Yeah.
No, you guys,
Then y'all
it's
are the
done all
white
the time. It's done.
supremacists.
You got yours.
You know,
Whites aren't
you know
allowed
who
to have
some of the
anything.
people have seen that. It's actually some of the
Right.
some of the people that recently did that with Obama. But that was they were white, and actually they were part of the same party that he was.
And,
But
yeah,
but the problem that comes up here is and let me counter that argument that you were just saying, or actually let me ask this question. You're saying that we're doing this to try to get something out of it. If we're gonna be
They got
lowering
free TVs
ourselves,
and
I'll put
movies
it
and all
I'll put it in
that.
this way. If we're gonna be lowering ourselves to that standard,
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
what good is that going to do for us? If we're trying to be better than everybody
Yeah.
else, you know, like for example,
like
I will
to
say
prove
this.
that we are civilized.
But I will say this. I will say it in this manner. Okay, a police officer kills an Hispanic person, you don't see any rights.
Yeah.
Why? Because we know better.
Yeah.
And I say that because you don't see any rights. What do? We go fishing. We have a flood. We go fishing.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, we don't go riot. We don't go do anything out of the ordinary because we know that, you know, we're more. I don't want to necessarily say that we're more civilized, but we are probably a little bit more tempered
Yeah.
with our anger.
Yeah.
In spite of the fact that people say that we weren't treated bad. Historically, we were treated just,
Well-
I mean, not necessarily as bad, but as I spoke to a person who's African American and happens to be Muslim, I told him, I said, look, I go, you want to get upset about what happened with slavery? Great. Let me get upset with what happened with us. We got our feet chopped off. We got our hands chopped off because we don't want to convert to a religion. We don't want, you know, we got ostracized. The Mexican people got ostracized by not only the Spaniards or the other Europeans, but also the natives.
Yeah.
Because we were half-breeds.
Yeah.
Which caused this whole sect, a whole group called the Chicano groups, or the Chicanos, because they were alienated by both sides. And we have become a large, diverse group because of all the stuff that happened to us. Not only that happening, but we also lost property after the war.
Well, but,
But we've been tempered with our arguments and our frustrations, as opposed to saying, let me go ahead and throw a brick into a cop car. Let me go ahead and destroy a person's property.
Yeah. But let me give you a rebuttal on that, okay? We have been, like you said before, stomped on, beaten on, hung, or whatever, and it's continuing. Okay, it's continuing, and you may not be seeing it, but it's happening in many different ways. Okay, so the people are trying to say, well, wait a minute, when is enough is enough? Okay, we tell them over and over, the ballot box is where you should do and make your decisions. If you don't like Mr. X, go to the box and kick him out. But you know what? You'd rather sit at home and drink a beer and don't spend 5 minutes or 30 minutes that it takes for you to make that decision. It's time that you wake up, and it's time for you to decide enough is enough.
I might have to counter that some. Some of these people, the vote is one thing, but to know what the hell's going on. There's so many people don't pay attention to what's happening.
Yeah.
They'll legacy vote.
Yeah.
They'll just vote for what somebody tells them to do.
Of course. But at the same time, is that it makes no difference. The thing is that you go vote for right or wrong. You have put your 2 cents in.
Well,
okay?
Therein lies the
But
I gotta counter that one too.
wait a minute. The thing is that I'm telling you is that even though you go to vote, yes, you need to learn who you're going to vote for and what you're going to vote for. But the only way to start learning is participating.
Participating.
And if you don't participate, then you have no right in the world to complain about anything. So we have been laying back so long. Yes, the Latino vote was tremendous with Obama, but in reality, it should have been triple dynamic than what it was, because the numbers are there.
Well, it should have been
For example,
more
I'll tell you
Latino
another example. Right now, our children that are born in the United States and their parents undocumented, they are graduating, they're becoming 18, they should register and decide to go vote for that person that may decide how to correct the problem that we're having with immigration. But unless they don't do it, then nobody's going to pay attention to you.
Need to counter some of this.
Okay.
And you can see it right here in East Austin.
Okay.
Like I asked that lady, does she take any, Susanna, does she take any responsibility for Johnson High School being a failing school? Well, you pretty much, the Hispanic community's pretty much got all the candidates they wanted elected. You run the school board. You won all the races. You won all your battles. But, the power plant's gone. But in the process, somewhere or another, you lost the burial.
Yeah, but look.
It's gone, ain't coming back.
But let me
It's like everything you were fighting for, you lost.
Yeah, well, we're losing the barrio.
Well, you won all the battles.
We're not losing the barrio because the people are leaving. We're losing it because of taxation. It's getting to the point where they can't afford.
You put them people in office.
Taxation is a system that's already there. It's been there since the beginning of time. Okay?
You won all the battles.
But what I'm saying is, no, we didn't win all the battles.
You got your candidates got elected.
Not all of them, no, sir. I mean, just because you favored one and I favored another one, that doesn't mean we all got them all elected. Yes, we've got a lot of Latinos in there, and we got a lot of women in there. Okay, and Democrats,
and
yeah, well, that's fine. Okay, but what I'm saying is this: as far as Johnson High is concerned, I've seen it failing from day one. Over 30 years ago, it's been failing. Okay,
that was part of the Eastside.
And I'll tell you what.
Was that Anderson?
No.
All right,
but the thing is this: that yes, in the old days, Johnson High put out a lot of good material. Believe me, we have 28 orchestras that came out of Johnson High. We had a lot of people that graduated from Johnson High. But you know what? During that time, you had teachers that really were really concerned with our kids and really working. The curriculum wasn't what it is today, where they're making it so hard that our kids don't even enjoy going to school. Okay, now.
I'll go back to
you go to the school. Okay, you go to the school board. Okay, but you only elect one in that area. Okay, that one never even showed up at many times to any of the schools. Okay, granted, you choose who you want, but in the meantime, is a lot of times, like I was telling you, when we had our event, that we taught our families how to navigate the school system.
Very
A
important.
lot of our families was even scared to walk into Johnston or walk into any other schools. Okay, why? Because they knew how they were going to be treated the moment they walked in. Okay, now yes, I'm taking blame for many of my kids that went to school, to LBJ and all the other schools. They ended up graduating. They ended up moving forward in their lives. But in the meantime, not all parents are the same. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, we have a situation right now where two parents have to work day and night just to keep food on the table. Okay, and then you try to go to a school to try to better it for your kids, and then you have people from the outside manipulating our kids, saying, you know what, you can sell these drugs and make more money than going to school, or you know what, you can go over here and do this better than go. It's our fault, the community's fault, because we're letting it happen. Okay, now you tell me this.
I'll put it this way.
How many of us have turned in a dealer?
Oh, no, I know I haven't.
Because the fear of, hey, they're going to repercussion.
I actually
I can't
don't
shoot
know
the
one.
dealer because I go to jail.
One of the things that I can probably say based on conversations, based on some of the conversations that I've had with some of the members that were part of the Empowerment Summit, was they were talking about how before you'd have groups that were there protecting the neighborhood. In the neighborhood, the families of those neighborhoods would go after the gangs. They'd go after the bad element personally. And in spite of the fact that, you know, there may be repercussions, they would do it. Now, granted, a lot of times there probably wasn't any type of repercussions going on towards them, but they knew that there was this bond between both the good and the bad element that says, hey, you know, when the good element's here, you leave. When we walk away, you guys do whatever, because, you know, by that time, all the kids are gone. And this is something that we actually talked about during one of the press conferences that I thought was pretty cool. But that part's gone because we don't have that communication that we used to have before.
No.
You know, that's one of the big parts. We don't, you know,
You know what I blame for that?
I mean, how long have you lived in the neighborhood that you didn't even know the next door neighbor? You didn't even know who lived across the street from you. Many times, because we are not. We don't want to go meddle. We don't want to go meddle with those neighbors. We don't want to, you know, we don't want them to feel like we're nosy and trying to get into their life, you know. But instead of nowadays, for example, in maybe neighborhoods, they got this little forum that they have. Everybody has their email, and something happens, they email the whole neighborhood. Okay.
I'm on neighborhood. That's a network.
Yeah, and there's now the creating of the network. It's not going to have an East Austin come. Many of us have computers. You know what I'm saying? But still, I mean, it's something that is moving forward. We're moving forward. But again, I still say that, you know, ignorance, of course, is.
Well, I'd say you got to be careful who you vote for.
It's one of the worst things in the world. Well, yes, but you know.
That is a very true statement.
But you know, people lie.
Yeah.
Okay, we have some
some
good politicians that are good liars. Believe me.
Well,
You know?
that goes to another question I was going to ask.
Okay.
Tied in sort of with Trump, is what can Republicans are trying to outreach, and that's of course why I brought up the y'all voted for, you won all your battles, and my party lost it all, and now you got all this. But anyway, how does my party?
Only in Travis County.
Yeah, all right. So how does my party go about outreaching to Hispanics?
Well, first of all, not having a person like that run for office is one of them, for sure. And
well, I mean,
what can the other candidates say about it?
What?
About the crime rate of people who are in the country illegally that have been deported so many times. Right here in Austin, there's a veteran helped everybody right down the street from here. And this guy had been deported like 4 times, killed him, went next door, killed a woman and her 9-year-old boy. I think I posted that on Facebook.
Yeah, but you have to, again, you're condemning all of them. And just because of one, because look, I can bring other cases from
most of them are great,
from Anglos, from African Americans, from
they haven't
Chinese,
been deported.
from Koreans that have done the same thing and maybe worse in some cases.
Let's hang them all.
But they have not been sent back. They have not been taken care of.
They were born here.
Okay. Well, the thing is that they still did wrong. They still did something wrong. But see, again, everything
you
is. But you have this gentleman, for example, in San Francisco. Okay, because of what he did. All of a sudden, everybody are criminals. Okay.
No, all of a sudden they can quit,
no, Sanction City.
sanctuary cities.
Sanction City. Yeah, okay. But if you know how it happened here, for example, in Austin, they have deported more
No, I know.
people
Well,
than any
sheriff has
other
been
county
good, but
in the
sheriff's
state
been
of
attacked
Texas.
for it.
Okay, number one. Oh yeah, it's constantly being attacked. But number two is that they don't even know how the system works. If him, me, or her are taken into jail, we automatically are checked by ICE.
And
They
I'm
grab
not-
us in,
No, they
check
just
us all
run my
down.
computer
Oh, no,
and
you,
find out I'm
hey,
an outlaw truck
hey,
driver.
you,
Yeah.
no, here's your,
case file on
here,
your own.
okay,
I-
here,
I
here's
shouldn't be
your
able to
pan
check
of
with
bread
because
and water, and you sit in that corner over and wait, and wait till
ICE wouldn't have to check for us because they can, based on our information that we have on our driver's
Yeah,
license.
they won't check
They'll
on you.
know where
No,
we
they
were
still
born.
check you.
But they'll be able to know we were born based on where we were born based on our driver's
But
license.
they still check and see. Because the fact is that they used to have a lot of
I don't
undocumented
think
had
that's
driver's
correct.
license.
They'll
They
pull
did have
Cable's driver's license. They'll have his whole history.
Well, they'll let them go.
They won't-
But once they
unless you
do
get a
that,
crime.
once they check you, they have 48 hours to either hold you in jail or deport you, do whatever they want to do with you.
What?
But see, again, I figure in this situation here, I agree with him. The man did wrong, but when he went through the system should have stopped him right about where
So was it wrong to not deport him all those times? Keep letting him back in?
No, they did, but he kept coming back. But the next time they caught him, instead of deporting him, they should have stuck him in
put him in
jail.
jail.
I just thought it was kind of funny that the person that said it was okay, which is the sheriff, actually had a criminal background.
Yeah,
He had a
it's
criminal-
San Francisco. What do you expect?
Well, no, he was arrested. He was on probation for domestic violence because he
Right.
grabbed his wife or he
Right.
struck his wife. They dropped it down so that he can go ahead and serve 2 years
Yes, they do a
probation.
lot of that.
Where he was, and here's the kicker: he wasn't able to hold a gun. He wasn't able to carry a weapon for 2 years. And then he went back, and everybody was criticizing him for that. They criticized him. His record is expunged, but because he was following city law, he's like, okay, we'll just let him over there and do whatever you're gonna do. And as a result, this situation was actually one of those perfect storms, if you will, where they just say
Came out
everything
right on time.
came out right at the time that people were getting mad at Trump for saying what he was saying, and people were doing, people were addressing whatever, and then all of a sudden, congratulations, here's everything all in a gift basket, and what are you gonna do with this now?
Sure. Well, that's what I'm saying. But all you have to do is get a hold of one little thing, and all of a sudden it becomes a
Well,
master.
they do.
We gotta go back to what
that's
the
not.
Republican Party can
But that's
do
not
to
what
okay.
entice more voters.
Well,
We've only got like 8 minutes left.
Well, Trump only added to the conundrum of
Makes
what
it
we,
even harder.
Yes,
Yes.
because for people like Gabriel, myself, the token white boy over
Yeah,
here,
it was.
trying to get Hispanics to get out and vote, it only made the situation worse because now it's like on some level we have to do
Any little event
cleanup.
you go to.
We have to do cleanup, and it's like, look, we don't stand for that. Like it came out of his mouth, but that's not us, So it only
say it's our
set us-
party.
It only set us back.
That's what you said
further.
about us being, being all Mexicans now, because that one guy. How you gonna think all Republicans are like that?
Yeah.
Which, yeah,
Well,
which
we
is
get that all
not
the time,
which
but
is
that-
not
but
I
the
say
thing-
all the time anyway.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem that we face is that we get that all the time.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not we're good people or not, we get that all the time. So I guess it would have to be more along. Here's what I think we would end up having to do, and maybe you can correct me on this part. Is good old fashioned communication. You
Still
you
not
as being-
after the
Exactly.
event.
yeah,
Exactly.
like we have a nice civil discourse right now. I mean, it was nice and honest. We were able, like you and I were able to talk about some of the differences without him getting mad at me and calling me
And that's a good
coconut
point, actually.
and calling me
That's a very good point.
No.
That's a very
and
good
saying,
point.
"Are you white?"
To be civil,
no,
to civilly disagree,
Yeah.
and to act as civilized human beings,
Yeah.
without regard to race, without regard to party. Even the Pokies are token white boy.
right.
But aside from that,
I ain't got a plaque to prove it.
you can disagree.
I do.
And you two can be feisty.
Yeah,
I
saw
can
my
be
plaque,
feisty.
didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I took a white boy plaque to prove it.
Oh man.
Is
I
this the-
prominently displayed everything.
two black people or two Hispanic people or two females, whatever you identify with, should be able to be civil with each other and disagree and still move forward. Because the problem with progression is a lack of communication and respecting each other's differences. You can be different, vote differently, but then if you attack each other, then that breaks down other people's efforts, like myself, who keep trying to outreach, keep getting called a coconut, keep getting told I'm not brown enough. It only makes
the makeup.
That's my makeup or lack thereof. But I'm really glad that you gentlemen tonight, we're able to disagree
Oh.
and still civilly move
He'll
forward.
hit me. He'll hit me anyway.
Well, see, the thing that you have to remember is that the only again education is what does everything all. And how do you get educated without communicating with
Open
anybody else
communications.
and having a dialogue? Because every head, every brain is a separate world. So I have my world, he has his, vice versa. So consequently, whatever we get out of that, for example, I may have information that I get from this side that you don't get. Okay, so even since when I was district director of 7 and 12, I always sent out information to all my members, for better or worse. And I will tell them, that's just for your information only. Read it. If you agree with it, fine. If you don't agree with it, that's also fine. But here it is. Here's the information right there. Read it. If you agree with it, fine. If you don't, hey, that's fine too. But I've given you one more level of knowing what's happening out there. You see?
Another nugget of information.
Yes, of course, and my father always taught me that if you can't go out every day and learn something new every day, you're not worth being out there.
10 boom.
Amen.
Yeah. So I think somebody.
Well,
So
But I
let's
love
see,
it.
we give up on the. We give up on.
on how did the Republican Party get
It's basically what we're doing now. It's just talking.
Open dialogue,
Open
yeah.
dialogue. Here's the thing: you're not going to convince everybody
No.
about what's going on, and people are going to call you names.
Give
No.
up on Trump, but stay out there and keep pushing.
Well, yeah, because
Well, it's
I think like anything else, the Republican Party has a lot of in common with the Latino community.
I agree.
They do have a lot.
Right.
And
I think we have more and more in
well,
common than the
put it this
Democrats
way.
do.
Put it this way: if it wasn't
Yeah.
for that, Vanderpue would have won
Yeah.
in San Antonio.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
true. Yeah, we gotta
but
give them
yet, if you look at how these people are losing the races, is because they're not communicating with their own people. They presume, hey, I was already there, so I'm going to automatically get the vote.
Now you're
You know
talking
what
And to
about
have
the other party.
open, to
Right.
have the
Well,
open communication, you have to
exactly.
be willing to accept
And willing
someone's
to step
differences.
out again. Just because I'm there at one time, just because I had the big. Hey, I'm going to sit back on my chair and say, okay,
Well, I
come
don't
on,
want you to
come
talk
on,
that way
people.
because now you're talking about the other party.
Well,
They need to come out and work on you too.
Well, yeah, of course. No,
I don't want 'em to.
No, I want.
I want you to understand. They don't really care
I
about
want them to work on everybody because the old benefit is that no matter who's there, as long as the community moves forward, I'm with
Step
it.
forward.
I don't care who's there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say, well, LULAC is non-partial. We don't care. We have no care what party it is, as
got-
long as you do for the benefit of our community. And not just saying Latino community. I said our community.
the whole community.
Because that's the ones that really are suffering right now. That's the only ones that can be moving forward. But if we don't do that, if we don't, when I go to the legislature or me and Ace and the rest of, we communicate with everybody, with all the senators and all
Let's
the
go down there with y'all. Let's
all
do
the
it.
representatives. Why? Because the only way we're going to progress is that they know who we are and we know who they are. Because otherwise than that, we're just statistics. We're just another group.
And you keep going so they remember your
Yes,
face.
yes. In fact, they get to the point where when we walk in the office, they say, "Hey, LULAC's here." So that
Would you
gives
like
me-
some coffee? Have a seat. We're
Yeah, they
used to
make
you
me
guys.
feel great. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right,
right, but that doesn't mean that they've helped me every time I went in there. But at least they know that we're there, that we're part of what's happening. And
And you're not going away.
no, and not tomorrow, not the day after me. If it's not me, somebody else is going to take my place. But the thing is this, that unless we don't do that, it's never going to happen. When I worked on way back on single-member
We ain't got
district.
enough time for way back. 'Cause, I
sing-
just want to tell you how much we do appreciate you coming on the show.
Oh, you're saying goodbye. Okay, bye.
Well, we got a minute and a half.
We got about less than about a
We got about a minute
minute.
and a half.
We do want to say thank you again from Michael Cargill. If you guys got a chance, listen to the podcast of 1370.
it was a hot show last
Go to
Sunday.
Come and Talk It. Some really hot button conversation that went on.
I love
I intend
Michael.
to listen to it tonight because
He
he
can't be
said
here
he
tonight,
blew
yeah.
up. He said he blew up, and
He did.
I have to go back and see it.
yes, it was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Here, yeah.
I
we wanna
missed the Guns and Giggles.
Yeah, well,
I did
Guns
the other
and
day.
giggles. Do those even go together? Guns and giggles.
It's
Only
real
with
fun.
Michael Cargill.
we
Only
want to thank you
Michael
again for being here on the show.
Thank you.
On especially telling us about what happened with LULAC up in Utah.
You'll get the bill.
Yeah, so I've heard on that one. I've gotten a couple of them, so I really appreciate it. But we want to thank you, and we hope to have you on.
Thank you for having me
again,
on. I appreciate it.
I love this. I love this conversations that we have with you. Adela, thank you again for being here today.
As late as I was.
No, it's okay. You know, based on the circumstances, you know how Austin traffic
Next
is.
week is city finance.
So we're gonna
That
talk about
I'm
money.
Yeah, how many? But
We're
you
gonna talk
did
about
city
Yeah.
finance,
money,
aren't
money,
you?
money, money.
I know enough.
And then the 20th and the 27th is going to be a fun show. We're not going to have any guests, just all the old. Anybody want to come on down? You know. Type
And if
thing.
you've seen all our word vomit, you'll want to definitely tune into that one because we all
Yeah, 10-4.
We want to thank you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Toodles.
have a good night.